Okay, we had already started up our introduction part of artificial intelligence, and taking it further, we'll be discussing today AI approaches. The approaches followed are defined by choosing goals of the computational model and basis for evaluating performance of the system. In the last lecture, we had already discussed goals of your artificial intelligence, and of course, the approaches that we will be following for your artificial intelligence, they are basically based on the objectives or goals of the computational models that we choose. And the basis for evaluating the performance of the system are also developed along with that computational model only. So under AI approaches or artificial intelligence approaches, we'll be studying four approaches under it. One is your cognitive science that has a logo impact, or you can say to understand the cognitive science, they have given a short form of it, think human like. But we want every system or every AI software or application to think human like. So that's the basis of your cognitive science. Similarly, for laws of thought, we'll be concentrating on the objective of think rationally. Rationally means to the best possible. If human would have been there instead of machine, what human would have taken a decision. So that would be better, or you can say best in the circumstances available. That is called as think rationally. Then Turing test, it act human like. Act human like means now, of course, we'll be studying this today in detail also. Human like means as the human would give a response, or you can say answer to a response, that means that's a human like. So it machine gives the same answer as humans would have taken the answer, or human would have given the answer in the particular situation. So that's a Turing test, a very important test, and that was the basis of your artificial intelligence. Rational agent act rationally. Again, another important aspect is rational means a rational approach of humans that matters a lot. And of course, we'll be discussing it in detail in the coming slides only. One by one, we'll take up one of the AI approaches. First one, cognitive science, think human like. An exciting new effort to make computers think, that is, the machines with minds in full and literal sense. So we as a human being are trying to build machines which are having minds like human. They can think like humans, either in full sense or in literal sense. Literal sense means a part of it. Let's say only in case of a particular aspect. If we take into consideration, let's say, profession medical. So if we want a machine to be almost giving similar results as a doctor, so that will be a literal. In a literal sense means in case of only one of the professions, let's say doctor. In full sense means it covers a lot many other things that like a human being can have it. So in case of cognitive science, our main motive is to build machines which think like humans, that have minds like humans, that can be having your this that can cover up either in full or in literal sense like humans are. Focus is not just on the behavior and input output, but all looks at the reasoning process. So our main objective or focus is not on the behavior part or input output to the computers, but it looks at the reasoning process, how that machine would have reasoned out regarding any particular situation, right? Regarding any particular input, regarding any behavior, because humans, they are very they have a very complex mind, complex brain, and they have a reasoning facility and reasoning power that is very complex. And similarly, if we want a similar kind of reasoning process for your this machine, so their focus is not only on the behavior and input output, they also look around at how that machine would reason out for a particular decision or for a particular activity. The computational model as to how results were obtained. So the model that would definitely give us the output in the form of how the results were obtained. So that's the computational model. So in that case, what happens is that in computers, what happens is that if you get a good output, or you can say the best output that is required, that means results are obtained. So in that case, the computational model only focuses on the results. It does not tell you how those results were obtained. That means at the back end, whatever coding was done, whatever algorithms were implemented below it, they are not told to common human beings. The goal or objective is not just to produce human-like behavior, but to produce a sequence of steps of the reasoning process similar to the steps followed by human in solving the same task. So main objective or goal is to produce human-like behavior, a very complex behavior. Humans are having a very complex behavior. In case of different environment situations, humans can behave in different manners. Sometimes humans feel sad, sometimes humans feel happy. So they have different kind of gestures that are even depicted on their facial expressions. So it's a very complex kind of behavior. So our objective of making a machine is to produce human-like behavior, and second is to produce a sequence of steps of the reasoning process. If we say that a particular machine has taken a particular decision based on some reasoning process that was already implemented in that machine in the form of algorithms, so what kind of sequence of steps were followed for that reasoning process? Similar to the steps followed by human in solving same task, and similarly, if a human would have thought about taking a particular decision, what kind of things a human would have taken into consideration for taking a particular decision. So that was your sequence of steps for humans. You have to incorporate or implement similar kind of sequence of steps into a machine so that you can reason out that for particular this reasoning part that these steps were followed, and that's why machine has taken this decision that is almost similar to your human. This is the first part. Second part is now important one over here. The study of mental faculties through the use of computational models, that it is the study of computations that make it possible to perceive, reason, and act. Another second important aspect over here is think rationally now. So very important aspect over here, that is your regarding your similar to your human behavior. The study of mental faculties, that means how humans behave through the use of computational models. So you use some computational models to analyze the human thinking part, human mental faculties, and you use those computational models to perceive, reason, and act. Perceive means to understand. Reason means why this has occurred, what was the reason behind it, how it should have occurred, and act. Act means what after that the decision was taken, how the this human would have acted in that case. Focus is on inference mechanisms that are probably correct and guarantee an optimal solution. So our main objective over here is on inference mechanism. Inference mechanisms are through which the results were obtained, and of course those inference mechanisms should be correct and they should guarantee an optimal solution as the humans would have taken those decisions in case of the similar situations only. So that means that we are concentrating on the inference mechanism. That means reasoning, how this, how we reached to these results, how we were able to reach to this result. There is a proper reasoning behind it, and that was based on some correct facts or data, and of course that gave an optimal solution that was already that could have been even taken by a human being also. So develop systems of representation to allow inferences to be like how that we have already studied this inference term in the above this line. So what, how can you this understand the concept of inference? There is an example over here. Suppose we have two terms. Socrates is a man, and second term is all men are mortal. So if we say take into consideration these two terms, then that would deduce or inference Socrates is mortal. Why? Because Socrates is a man. And if we say that all men are mortal, that Socrates is mortal. So this kind of inference mechanisms, they allow computational models to give correct results or optimal solutions in case of your any kind of problems. Goal is to formalize the reasoning process as a system of logical rules and procedures for your inferences. So our main objective or goal is to formalize the reasoning process. Formalize means it is not your informal one. It's to have a proper mechanism through which we can incorporate the reasoning process into a particular machine with a set of logical rules and procedures which would lead to an inference mechanism, which would lead to some your results. So that is our objective. The issue is not all problems can be solved just by reasoning and inferences, because we are concentrating on your this reasoning part. So it is not possible that only the reasoning or inference mechanisms or using these mechanisms we can solve all problems. Of course, we can solve a lot many of problems, but still we cannot solve all the problems using this. So that's very important over here. So what we do over here is that this is one of the methods. Again, this is one of the AI approach for your rational thinking. Now, moving on to the third AI approach, Turing test, act human-like, a very important test and a very, you can say, informative test that allows you to test whatever you have implemented in the machine to know that whether it is acting like humans or not. The art of creating machines that perform functions requiring intelligence when performed by people. So this is the main objective of Turing test. You are creating a machine that is acting like similar to as would have as a human would have behaved using his or her intelligence. So you know it, every human being has an intelligence, and if you want a machine to use its own intelligence to yeah, you can say its own algorithms and computational models to tell a human or show a human that it is giving the similar results as another human being in place of that machine would have taken the decision using intelligence. So that is the study of how to make computers do things which at the moment people do better. So even we, this is one of the definitions also of your, let's say, AI, that we want how the computers to do the things which at the moment people do better. So if you want that you want to replace a human labor or human being with a machine, that means you are making a computer intelligent, a machine intelligent. So focus is on action and not intelligent behavior centered around representation of the world. You cannot make a machine intelligent. You are basically making it do, or you can say making it act like humans by incorporating or implementing some computational model, algorithms, or complex algorithms that almost have similar kind of intelligent behavior as a human being would have. So that's the main focus. So a behaviorist approach is not concerned with how to get results, but to the similarity to what human results are. So if we concentrate on the behaviorist approach, that is not concerned with how to get results, that how we reach these results, but it has a similarity to how the humans would have got this result in case there was a human being in terms or in case of your machine. So that's the main behavioral approach. So Turing test, we'll discuss it further also. So what is the Turing test in our next slides? So what is the Turing test now? So I'll take an example that would definitely give you a better view of the Turing test. There are three rooms. In one room there is a person, in another room there is a computer, and in third room there is an interrogator. So the interrogator can communicate with the other two by teletyping. Teletyping means using your keyboard. It is only using your typing method to communicate with the person and the computer in the different two rooms. This is done to avoid the machines imitate the appearance or voice of the person. So because you are going to test a computer, so in that case, teletyping would be a better solution to know whether in one room a person is there or a computer is there. So in that case, to avoid that a machine is looks like a human being, or like it gives a voice or talks like human being. So to avoid that, teletyping is used to know in which room the person is there, in which room computer is there. The interrogator tries to determine which is the person and which is the machine. The main objective of interrogator is to know in which room the person is there and in which room machine is there, or you can say computer is there. and the machine tries to fool the interrogator to believe that it is the human being, and the person in another room tries to convince the interrogator that it is a human being. So this is all about that interrogator starts asking questions by teletyping, means typing on the keyboard that is displayed on some other side, or to the human being also, to the computer also. And in that case, what happens is machine tries to fool the interrogator by giving answers in such a way that human would have given, and human being gives an answer to the interrogator to make him believe that he is a human being. So if the machine succeeds in fooling the interrogator, then conclusion is that machine is intelligent. In that case, if the machine succeeds in fooling the interrogator, and the interrogator just tells that in the room in which the machine was there or computer was there, that this is human being, in that case, that computer machine is considered as intelligent. The goal is to develop systems that are human-like. So our objective also in case of Turing test is to develop systems that are human-like. Next AI approach is rational agent act rationally. Tries to explain and emulate intelligent behavior in terms of computational processes. So it tries to explain also, and emulate means try to implement intelligent behavior using your computational process or models into a machine, so that it is concerned with the automation of intelligence now. That means if we are if we are successful in implementing and explaining how an intelligent machine is, and how that intelligence is incorporated or implemented in a machine, in that case we are basically automating intelligence, and that machine would behave in the same way as an intelligent human being would have. So focus here is on systems that act sufficiently, if not optimally, in all situations. So our objective over here is now to make systems or machines that are almost behaving optimally in almost all the situations, and those situations are those where the human beings would have taken similar kind of, you can say, decision, similar kind of behavior would have been there by the human being. Similar behavior and similar kind of results, or this you can say inference would have been done by a machine also. It is possible to have imperfect reasoning if the job gets done. So what happens over here is, if we are able to do the job in a similar way as the human would have been done, that means we can say that this machine has is acting like rationally, because you have already provided your rational behavior over to the machine using different computational processes and methods. Goal is to develop systems that are rational and sufficient. So our main objective over here is also that to develop systems which act rationally, and they are sufficient means they are behaving optimally, similar to the human beings. Heuristic search techniques now. So although this is a topic that is in your syllabus in detail in further section also, but giving an overview of it in this only, in this section, I'll give an overview of it. For complex problems, the traditional algorithms are unable to find the solutions within some practical time and space limits. So for simple problems, you know it that normal algorithms or traditional algorithms, they were able to give you sufficiently good and optimal solutions to those problems. But when you go for your some complex problems, in that case, traditional algorithms, they sometimes, I'll not say always, they sometimes are unable to find the solutions which have some practical time and space limits, that within a time limit and within the space constraints that are provided or environment provided, traditional algorithms may not be able to give you solutions for your this complex problems. So consequently, many special techniques are developed using your heuristic function. So in that case, we have a heuristic function, and using these heuristic function, which is a special technique where we are able to handle complex problems using your traditional algorithms also. We have developed some complex algorithms after that based on those algorithms only. Further, blind search is not always possible because they require too much time or space memory. So blind search is one of the method, of course, that requires a lot of time and space in terms of its implementation. So we'll go into details when we will be studying the heuristic search techniques in detail. So this is one of the search methods where a lot of time is required, a lot of memory is required to implement that blind search. So in case of heuristic search, that's an important technique. Heuristics are rules of thumb. Rules of thumb is, let's say, every human being has its own heuristics, in its own thinking to solve a particular problem. So they do not guarantee for a solution to a problem. So it is not necessary that every human being is going to give a solution to every kind of problem. So similarly, heuristic search techniques and heuristics are also similar. That it is not necessary that for every heuristics that are basically called as rules of thumb, you are going to get a solution to a problem, and that solution is an optimal one. This is also an important aspect over here. So heuristic search is a weak technique, but can be effective if applied correctly. They require domain-specific information. So although heuristic search techniques are weak techniques, but in some cases, if you apply it correctly, effectively, using some domain-specific areas with the information provided in your different in that specific area that is sufficient, in that case, heuristic search technique would definitely be a, you can say, give you good and successful, you can say good results in fact, that case. So we'll go into details in this in the further syllabus. So what are the characteristics of heuristic search? Heuristics are knowledge about domain, which help search and reasoning its domain. Domain is an area. Let's say we are making a machine that is giving you results almost similar to, let's take an example of Dr. OK. So in that case, so heuristics that are having knowledge with that domain. If you have a good knowledge, you have incorporated or implemented good knowledge that a doctor has related to its own domain area, that is your medical profession. So in that case, your reasoning and your search, that would definitely give good results in case you are using your heuristics to solve that. So heuristic search incorporates domain knowledge to improve efficiency over blind search. So if we know, we have already studied that there is one of blind search also, and there is a heuristic search also. So in case of heuristic search, if you use your domain knowledge to improve your efficiency, that definitely gives you a better or efficient results as compared to your blind search, where the cases that you have enough knowledge in terms of your data and information regarding a particular domain area, and that related to that domain area, you have even incorporated or implemented a large number of complex algorithms to solve that those problems. So heuristics is a function that, when applied to a state, returns value as estimated merit of the state with respect to goal. So heuristics is also called as function, and in a particular state or in a particular environment, in a particular area, when you apply it, it returns a value estimated merit of state. That means whatever you have estimated or you have predicted, or you can say with a particular goal in mind, objective in mind, if you use that function to solve a particular problem, it would have given the similar results as human would have given the results in that very environment or area or state. Heuristic might, for reasons, underestimate or overestimate the merit of a state with respect to goal. So in case of your heuristic, even in some areas, it might underestimate or overestimate the state and with respect to the objective. And in that case, it might give a result that might be an optimal one and might not be an optimal one. As we have already studied in our previous slide, that it is not always necessary that heuristic search would definitely give you good results only. So heuristics that underestimate are desirable and called admissible. So if we take into consideration your underestimate overestimate part in case of your particular state or area, in that case, heuristics are always considered, you can say, or giving your better estimates or results in case of your underestimate part, and they give you desirable results, and are admissible means they are considered almost good that are similar to your human results. Heuristic evaluation function estimates likelihood of given state leading to a goal state. So हमारे जो heuristic evaluation function है, that gives you likelihood of giving the similar kind of results as human would have given in the similar kind of state. And the objective is also this, that the machines would give the similar results as humans would have. So heuristic search function estimates cost from the current state to goal state and presuming the function is efficient. So here the heuristic search function, what it does is it estimates the cost not in terms of only money only, it cost in terms of time and your this memory. You can say that, and in that case it takes into consideration your current state, and the objective is to reach some other state, and presuming that efficient this function is efficient, it always reaches that particular goal state. So here I'll be taking this further now.